Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. A Yorkshire charity says a third of children in our region are living in poverty, with 1 in 5 predicted to go without a celebration this Christmas.
Some families are unable to afford presents for their children at Christmas, or even to provide food for them.
We visit the charity working round the clock to make sure children have essentials this Christmas. Also tonight, a survivor of conversion therapy speaks out as a review is underway into what happened in a Sheffield church 15 years ago.
The Doncaster Dome's striking architecture and geometric design has earned it listed building status. Not bad for a 1980s leisure centre.
And no one gets hurt, honest. The wrestling club in West Yorkshire celebrating its 15th birthday.
And it was nice to see a bit of brightness, a number of showers leading to that lovely rainbow in Whitby. But what about the next few days? Join me for that detailed forecast.
Hello there, good evening. While many of us are preparing for Christmas, a charity is warning that many families in our region are going to find this festive season particularly tough. The Yorkshire Children's Charity says demand for winter essentials like shoes and coats has quadrupled in a year, with more families asking for help than ever before. Now, research shows a third of children surveyed in Yorkshire and the Humber fear a friend or a classmate won't get any presents. And 1 in 5 children will have to go without the basics like warmth, fresh food or a celebration this Christmas. Our reporter NJ Convery has been to visit one charity supporting families.
Yorkshire Children's Charity Sorting Depot in Morley is a hive of activity this week, one of 3 depots across Yorkshire sorting Christmas presents for over 1,000 children who'd otherwise go without.
It's actually a privilege to be here. You make me feel quite emotional, actually. Because I know that there's children that are not expecting a Christmas present, and for them to have this surprise that they're going to get, that makes it all worthwhile.
We've had a 300% increase in applications this year. This is just a snippet of what we're delivering. These are all coats that volunteers have just bagged up for us. They're brand new coats for children. We've got, those are just some of the rails of pyjamas, which will also be bagged up and sent out to every child whose family have applied for help. And that is absolutely our primary focus here is, are they warm? Are they having their essential needs met?
It's not just about needs, it's about wants, which is only natural at Christmas. Operations have greatly expanded since last year.
Our child poverty rates in Yorkshire are the highest that we've seen in over 20 years. A third of all of our children in Yorkshire are living in poverty. We are the 3rd worst region nationally for child poverty. So it's absolutely to be expected that we've got more families than ever coming to us asking for assistance.
All the presents, clothes and essentials are brand new, almost all paid for by the charity, who rely on a small army of volunteers to pick, pack and deliver the gifts across the region in time for Christmas. Wykebeck Primary School in East Leeds is one of the places the charity operates. It's in the bottom 3% nationally for deprivation, with 2/3 of students eligible for pupil premium support.
Some families are unable to afford presents for their children at Christmas, or even to provide food for them, and that's where we work with charities like Yorkshire Children's Charity, who have supported us, and we're very grateful for that.
Many families across Yorkshire face a challenging winter, but this charity is fighting to make sure as many children as possible experience some of the joy and magic of the festive season. NJ Convery, BBC Look North, Leeds.
What a brilliant job they're doing to make sure it's special for those children. Next night, a man who says he was a victim of conversion therapy is urging other survivors to come forward. Now, conversion therapy is a way of suppressing sexual orientation or gender identity. Sylvester says the abuse happened when he was part of St Thomas Philadelphia Church in Sheffield more than 15 years ago. This comes as a review is being carried out into another claim that the practice happened at that church. Emily Anderson has been speaking to Sylvester.
I thought being gay was wrong.
Sylvester was heavily involved in the church when he was a teenager. At the time, he considered training to become a minister. Age 19, he started a discipleship with St Thomas Philadelphia Church in Sheffield.
We had like a weekend where there was like lots of intense prayer. There's basically like 2, maybe 3 people like praying, like laying hands and praying on me and asking, telling the demon of homosexuality to leave me, or, you know, which he didn't leave because I'm still here. I'm gay.
This, Sylvester says, was part of his conversion therapy.
I believed it.
Did you think being gay was wrong?
Yeah.
It's difficult to know exactly how widespread the practice of conversion therapy is. There's no standard legal definition, and victims may be reluctant to share their experiences. And in some cases, they might not even know they've been through it.
For Sylvester, he only realised 15 years later.
You look at it from the outside, you know, years later, you're like, that's ridiculous. How have I believed that? How have I allowed that to happen? I felt stupid.
A spokesperson for St Thomas Philadelphia Church in Sheffield has said, "We're saddened to learn of this person's experience of being part of the church over 10 years ago. It's now under different leadership. The experiences he's described raise significant concerns about past practice, which we're determined to review and learn from." Meanwhile, the Diocese of Sheffield says, "We recognise how difficult it is for victims and survivors of abuse to come forward, and urge anyone affected by this to contact our safeguarding team, where concerns will be heard in confidence." A proposed ban on conversion therapy in the UK has been introduced in a private member's bill.
Love is love, and absolutely is not a pathology, and you do not need treating. And if the PMB doesn't work, the private members bill, I will be amending future legislation that's coming forward until we get the ban that our gay communities deserve.
The bill is expected to be debated early next year. Emily Anderson, BBC Look North.
And if you've been affected by anything that's reported there, details of organisations that can provide support with issues relating to sexuality or gender, mental health or feelings of despair are available at bbc.co.uk/actionline. Next night, a man in Doncaster was left seriously injured after being slammed into a wall whilst trying to stop his car being stolen from his own property. Now, there is a warning some viewers may find these images distressing. The video shows the man apparently de-icing his windscreen with the engine running when a thief jumps into the front seat, injuring the owner and ripping off the doors as he drove away. Police say the car has since been recovered and inquiries are ongoing. Drivers have been warned to avoid leaving their car unattended to de-ice, even if it's on their own drive. Improvements have been made in how Bradford's most vulnerable children are cared for, although more progress is still needed. That's according to Ofsted. The city's children's services was rated inadequate in January this year, following a 2-day monitoring visit which took place last month. The watchdog said there were early signs of improving practice. A man who was caught dangling upside down by his shoelaces during a break-in at a York apartment has been jailed. York Crown Court heard that Lee Kenneth Moore, who's 41, woke the couple who live in the apartment with his moaning and groaning. They found the intoxicated intruder hanging by his shoelaces from the frame of an open window in July. Moore was jailed for 2 years and 4 months after admitting burglary. Now, there's just 11 shopping days left until Christmas. Have you done all your shopping yet? But with the cost of living crisis still biting, how is this affecting our high streets? Well, figures from the local data company show there have been a record number of independent shop closures around the country this year. But in North Allerton, in North Yorkshire, where the majority of the high street there are independent traders, the outlook is more positive, as Adam Powell has been finding out.
While big retail beasts like Debenhams, Wilko's and Topshop are no more, independent shops in places like North Allerton have flourished. Last year there was a net increase of 1,300 independents nationally. It's a different story this year thanks to the credit crunch. Barker's is a family-owned department store that's seen plenty of change over the last 140 years. In the run-up to Christmas, people are spending.
I would say it has got a lot busier, which is great. Obviously, with it coming up to Christmas, I don't think people have spent less, really. I think it's just got really busy again, which is great.
You've obviously done some Christmas shopping yourself. Why do you like coming to North Allerton?
Independent shops.
lovely high street, and then you get accosted by lovely gentlemen like yourselves to ask you why.
You've got your small Montana, you've got your Barkers, which you're going for your barber and stuff like that, but it's just a nice mix of, I don't know, when you're out in the fresh air, it's not plastic.
We only tend to come to Northallerton about once a year, to be honest. And to get me out Christmas shopping is a marvellous thing, I think.
Dorothy Lee runs a clothes shop here and knows why people like coming to the town.
It's a nice high street where everybody can walk up and down without hills, and it's easy to park.
One of the ongoing challenges all retailers face are business rates, a charge based on shop area and not profits.
Business rates do need to be turned on their head, and town centre businesses that support communities and provide good service, and there needs to be some acknowledgement through business rates that the 21st century is very, very different.
The biggest problem with business rates is the fact that they're fixed. They are based on the size of the property. And I agree with many retailers out there, large and small, the business rate system should be completely overhauled and should move in line with the profitability of the business itself.
The majority of Northallerton's high street is made up of independent businesses, and the signs look positive. Figures from the local business improvement district show that footfall is once again at pre-pandemic levels. Adam Powell, BBC Look North, Northallerton.
Well, it's good to see a high street doing well there, isn't it? Now, a family from York is hoping to raise more than £20,000 for a specialised hospital bed that would allow loved ones to lie next to patients. A cuddle bed is specifically designed to allow family members to enjoy intimate moments while in hospital. It's been raised in memory of Dominic Ryan, who passed away earlier this year. Jacob Tomlinson has been to meet his family.
Worry, heartbroken. It's just not something you expect to be diagnosed at 45 years old.
It felt like we were living in a dream world. It wasn't real.
In October this year, Dominic Ryan from York passed away because of a cancerous brain tumour. He was just 45 years old.
It was really difficult because we knew he was poorly, but we didn't really expect, I suppose, that diagnosis, and so we just really changed the way we were thinking, I suppose, at that point, and we decided that we just had to carry on and enjoy the best we could with the time we had left together.
Initially, Dominic, or Nick as he was known, wanted to remain at home for his treatment, but his needs meant he had to be moved into a local hospice.
I'd be sat at the hospital bed watching telly in the chair, for example, for quite a long time, and you'd be wanting to lean in, and Nick wanted to hold your hand, and you wanted to be close to each other, but yeah, you'd get bruises under your arms, along your arms here, on your side, and that's how we started talking about this special type of hospital bed that is available, called a cuddle bed.
Right, the cuddle bed, I didn't even know they had existed.
Nick's sister-in-law Michelle came up with the idea to fundraise for a specialised hospital bed which can be turned into a double bed, giving the loved ones of patients the chance to lie next to them.
And it just got me thinking. I thought, they need one.
So I cared for Nick when he first came into the hospice. He was definitely a character, and he was with us for a while, so we all got to really know him and Lou and the family. Although the beds that we have are brilliant, at the moment, if you have a patient in a bed with a loved one that wants to sleep over, we have to push 2 hospital beds together at the moment, which isn't ideal. But with the cuddle bed, you can actually be next to your loved one.
When Nick passed, it was difficult. You want something else to focus on, I suppose, and it just became a really good, positive outcome that could come from this really difficult situation, was we could actually maybe get that cuddle bed for them in Nick's memory.
Jacob Tomlinson, BBC Look North.
Now, you might recognise this building. When it opened back in 1989, Doncaster Dome was the largest leisure centre in Europe. It was also the place to go for kids in Yorkshire. I remember my first day ice skating at Donny Dome. Well, now it's been noticed for a bit of a different reason. It's its striking architecture design that's taking it into the history books to be preserved for decades to come. Heidi Tomlinson can tell us more.
From the outside, you wouldn't imagine Doncaster Dome to be of historical importance, but this leisure centre, built in the 1980s, is now Grade 2 listed due to its striking architecture and bold geometric shapes.
It's called postmodernist architecture, and it fits in nicely with the leisure use because it's about giving the architect freedom to design individual bits and to take people back to a different time in age.
So we're approaching the atrium, the actual dome here, David, and there are some very interesting features that you might not notice unless they're pointed out.
That's right. The whole idea is to pull you through into this area and to have the illusion that you're looking at a classical column. But you've got some interesting features. At the top of the column, you've got the steelwork which supports the atrium.
It's all very exposed, isn't it?
It's all very exposed, and you can see what the building's made of.
Walking through the crowds in the six-pool swimming hall, the Princess joked about feeling overdressed for the occasion.
Opened in 1989 by Princess Diana, the venue was commissioned to drive economic regeneration. Then it was the largest leisure centre in Europe with the longest water flumes. For 34 years, families have headed to the Dome for fun days out. And to this day, this is the only split-level ice rink in the country. And at this time of year, thousands of people come here to feel festive or just glide around awkwardly and nearly fall on their backsides like I'm about to do. Oh, should have got that snowman, shouldn't I, after all? Well, the architecture has rather fallen flat on visitors over the years, so why is it now listed?
It's designed by a firm of architects who were the pioneers and specialists in leisure centre design, and it's one of their best as well. And it just epitomises the era. It's that transition from a normal sports centre with more kind of formal sports to what effectively is like a pleasure palace.
The reason it's listed is because of its geometric design and its striking architecture.
I can agree with that, yeah. There's nothing else around here that looks remotely like it, is there?
I think the dome's like a thing people from outside of Doncaster come here for.
It's very modern looking, but it's moved with the times, hasn't it? It's looking a little bit tatty, isn't it? You know, these buildings don't really stand test of time, do they?
A refresh is imminent, with 2.4 million ready to replace the dome's glazing, so this officially historic building can shine with pride. Heidi Tomlinson, BBC Look North, Doncaster.
I was 8 when that opened. Lots of memories at the Dome. Now let's keep with the sports theme, shall we? 3 of our championship teams played last night. It was the first match in charge for the new Rotherham United boss, Liam Richardson, who was appointed on Monday. Wasn't great for him, though. The Millers suffered a 2-0 defeat against West Brom, leaving them without a win in 9 games and at the bottom of the table. Elsewhere, Leeds United's 7-game unbeaten run came to an end last night with a 1-0 defeat at Sunderland. Leeds' fearsome form under Daniel Farke made them daunting competition, but Sunderland secured the victory with a goal in the 78th minute. And it was another loss for Huddersfield Town last night. The Terriers were defeated 3-1 at home against Preston North End. Despite a goal from Danny Ward, they were actually booed off by their home fans at half-time. Huddersfield are just 1 place above the Championship relegation zone. Rio Ferdinand is the latest guest on Rob Burrows' podcast 7. Now, the episode is available now, along with 5 others on the Total Sport podcast on BBC Sounds, or you can download it from your favourite podcast provider. Next tonight, a singing group with a difference. They call themselves the We Can Survive Singers. It's a group of 25 men and women from Barnsley who have come together through their shared experience with cancer. They sing not only to support each other, but to show their support to those who are living with the disease. Well, tonight it's their Christmas concert in Barnsley, and Mark Ansell has been treated to a final rehearsal.
Yes, welcome to Workley Hall, and a really special night tonight because everybody that's singing behind us has been impacted by cancer. They're either surviving cancer or living with cancer. They are the We Can Survive Singers, and they're just getting ready because this is a rehearsal. The big night is at 7 o'clock here. Let me introduce you to a couple of the singers. First of all, Lisa and Gina here. Lisa, first of all, you've been part of this group, not choir. You're very strict, it's not a choir because it's a... Why is it not a choir, first of all,
just because
We didn't want to make people feel like that they had to sing or be professional, so it's more just a singing group because you don't have to sing professionally. It's just an uplifting singing group, which is for fun, really.
And you've survived breast cancer twice, and you were telling me earlier that having cancer was a lonely experience, but this is like the antidote to loneliness.
Yes. The first time I got diagnosed, I was in denial, and I found it very, very hard, lonely, nobody to talk to. You don't want to talk to your loved ones because you don't want to upset them. So when I joined this choir, it's just been an uplifting part of my life, and the second diagnosis, it's just made it so much better.
You've made your own song, haven't you?
We have, yes. They actually had written that just before I joined, so I was fortunate enough to be able to go along and record it with the rest of the group.
And what's the group meant to you then?
To me, the group means an awful lot, because after you've had cancer, you are bombarded with information. It comes at you from all directions, but it's like hitting you with pieces of straw that you've then got to try and sort out. And you need like-minded people to be able to talk to be able to put your thoughts in order, and to be able to make some sense of it.
Great stuff.
And yes, it is about laughing, and yes, we all love to sing. We like people to listen, but if they don't want it won't stop us singing.
Absolutely.
We'll still carry on.
Good stuff. And
because we are surviving.
Indeed. And the lyrics from the song that you've made, I'll just read them here, because it says, "We were lost at sea, but together we are family. You are going to catch me if I fall." Simon, if you wouldn't mind taking it away, and we'll hear that song one more time.
Well, we do apologise for the sound problems there, but we certainly got an idea of how beautiful that choir sounds. You're going to love this last story. It was made famous by the likes of The Rock and Hulk Hogan. Wrestling is a spectacle that I'm told isn't as terrifying as it looks. So when Jonathan Sedgwich's 5-year-old son requested a wrestling party, his dad decided to go all out and buy a ring. He then turned it into a wrestling club, which has now been growing ever since and preparing to mark its 15th birthday. Olivia Richwald has been along to see them.
My character is verified Rowan Thomas, and I am a bad guy. The crowd's booing you, but I don't care about the crowd, really. I don't care what the crowd think. I care about what I think.
And my friends, I think, are more scared of me than anything. Some of them think it's cool. Others are scared that I'll break their arm at any second.
This is UK wrestling in Batley, where children as young as 6 can train for an appointment in the ring.
I like the buzz you get from it and the adrenaline, and it's helped me through my mental health, because throughout school I was bullied. So I started here to help with my anxiety, and it's helped me a lot, and I've become more confident in myself.
Each session starts with 2 hours of drills and training before the participants get into character for the evening show.
Sometimes people find it easier to be a bad guy. It'll bring them out of the shell before they decide to be a good guy character.
In the ring right now, Rowan, who's only 11, and the baddie for the evening.
It's okay. That's Rowan's mum. And if she's okay with it, I guess we're all okay with it.
It's a bit daunting, I suppose, kind of watching it, but it fills me with pride, to be honest. So we can't walk around the house without getting like a clothesline or some kind of attack, you know, trying to go make a cup of tea or something like that, and it's the forearm from one of them.
It looks incredibly violent, but the organisers tell me that every move is carefully planned and staged, and no one really gets hurt.
I've loved it ever since I was 40-year-old, so if somebody told me back then I can see you wrestling a few years from now, I would have laughed at them. I never once thought I'd be doing this.
It's been very good for my mental health, because I'm someone who's always kind of needed a bit of a creative outlet, and I've always loved wrestling, so I thought I could mix what I absolutely love in wrestling with what I do in amateur dramatics, and it's just worked, and I've absolutely loved the experience and connecting with the crowd.
UK Wrestling runs 3 evening sessions a week for all ages, as well as monthly shows which can attract an audience of about 200. They also broadcast on YouTube.
You've got a whole crowd in front of them, you want to impress them, like there's pressure on you, but once you've done the match, it's kind of a relief because you know you've done well.
Olivia Richwald, BBC Look North in Batley.
I hope my kids aren't watching because they'll be changing their Christmas list. That looks great fun, doesn't it? In fact, they do that at home just without the ring.
Boxing used to be massive. Big Daddy on a Saturday afternoon on ITV. It used to be must watch, but I hate to say it, that's before Amy's time.
This is wrestling, not boxing.
No, it's wrestling. Big Daddy and Giant
You
Air
said
Stacks.
boxing.
Oh, did
Yeah,
I?
yeah.
I do apologise. Let's have a look at
I know what you
London
meant.
Foot. Dunavers Travels has sent that in. Lots of sunshine there, looking right across West Yorkshire. But look to the coast. It was a very different story. That looks grey and miserable. The northeasterly was really bringing in the waves there with just that lone person and his dogs on the beach. But we can all look forward to a big improvement over the next few days. If you've got any pictures you'd like to send in on X, Instagram, on the Weather Watcher website. So tomorrow we're off to a damp start, but brighter skies will head in from the west. It looks like a lovely sunny afternoon. And then pressure builds up from the southwest. Now, the number of isobars tells you it's going to be really pretty windy, cloudy in the west, sunny further east, and then we'll see some rain heading down from the northwest Sunday night into Monday. Right, there's the radar picture. You can see the showers that have been running into Scarborough, eastern parts all day long. Further to the west, it's quite clear now and temperatures are dropping away quite sharply. So we'll see widespread ice as early as this evening across some areas in the west. Then we've got clouds to race in. We'll see some patchy rain, a little bit of snow over the tops of the hills, not amounting to very much at all. And we'll see temperatures around or just below freezing point. So tomorrow's high water times in Filey at 4:49 and again at 3 minutes past 5. So it's a cold, cloudy and damp start, but fortunately the patchy rain and drizzle is chased away southeastward. Skies brighten through the morning and the afternoon looks really very promising indeed. Dry with plenty of December sunshine. We're looking at top afternoon temperatures reaching 9 Celsius in Leeds and Worksop. That's 48 degrees Fahrenheit. Further ahead then, Friday looks a nice day. It's dry and bright with spells of sunshine. Then over the weekend, a bit of a west-east split. There'll be a lot of cloud, especially across the Pennines. The best of the sunshine always towards the coast. It's going to be windy. Look at these temperatures, 12 or 13 degrees. Very mild for the time of the year. It does turn more changeable next week. That's the forecast.
9 days to go, is it, till Christmas?
Probably.
Chances of it being white?
Very
Oh, he's non-committal, is he? Non-committal, as always.
Can't rule it out.
That's it from us. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get you an answer. Good night.